Welcome to the Ben Stortini Show, where stories drift between worlds and forgotten moments find new life. Let's begin our journey. Let's go. And welcome back to the Ben Stortini Show. I am your host, Mr. Ben Stortini, but you can just call me Ben, B-E-N. How has your week been since we last spoke? Man, as you know, my heat pump, 2-year-old heat pump, man, just broke. Just up and broke about 2 weeks ago now. And so I mentioned that on my last on the last episode. And somebody was gonna come by. So somebody had come by, assess the situation, say, yeah, it's a leak inside. Anyways, blah blah blah. Had a second guy come in, and I almost slapped the shit out of this kid. So this Atlas Care sends a child, basically a child, to my house. First he pulls up, he says, yeah, the time between 1 and 4. He shows up at 3:45. His little van comes out in front of my house, and he's just sitting there with his fat ass in the truck. I can see that he's sitting on his phone scrolling, probably checking his Instagram feed, right? All I can see is his big belly. And he's a kid. And he's just sitting in his car. It's like 15 minutes. All of a sudden it's close to 4 o'clock. I'm in here sweating bullets like a hoe in church, right? And so I go outside and I look at him and I was like, I put my two hands up like, what's going on here? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I got I was angry. I was like, I just looked him in the eyes. I'm like, listen, child, get in my house now. So he like grumbles that he's walking like he's 55, but he's probably only like 22 years old. I like just hired, right? And he puts his backpack on, takes a sip of his water, itches his belly, and then I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe this is some wonder kid when it comes to HVAC, right? So he gets in the house and he's like, so you guys some water issues, huh? And I was like, and he's chomping on his gum. I'll never forget this. He was just chomping on his Wrigley, and it just like he had Big League chewing his mouth. He just kept chewing and chewing and chewing. I wanted to slap the shit out of him. Just slap the gum right out of his mouth. Had this cocky chew to him too, right? So I'm like, and he's like, yeah, you got some water? I'm like, did you not? I looked at him. I was like, well, the guy yesterday told me that it was this, it was that. Like, did you not speak? He's like, what do you mean somebody was here? And gave me some attitude. I'm like, you guys came yesterday and did a pressure test and left it for 24 hours to see where the leak's at. And now you're here to check where the leak's at. He's like, oh, they don't tell me anything around here. Chomping his gum, chomping. He's like, oh, do you remember what his name was? I'm like, do I remember what his name was? That's your job. Call the office. Find out who the guy was yesterday, because I'm not taking notes. I'm not some pen pal with this guy from Atlas Care yesterday. No, I don't know who it was. He's like, okay. So he goes and he calls blah, 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 and he finds out it's who it is and ends up calling him. And I was like, okay. So he goes outside and he's checking to see where the leak is at, if it's inside or if it's outside, if it's in the unit outside or if it's coming from inside, right? And I hear him. He's on his phone with his fucking boss talking it through. I'm like, who did you send here? Who did you send here? This guy is sitting on his phone going, and what do I do next? And what do I do next? Oh my God. So anyways, he figures out that yes, indeed, the leak is coming from the condenser coil inside the unit outside. So a bad welding job, essentially. So this shit just breaks, right? Okay, so I go outside. He's giving me the rundown. I'm like, you're not just going to get out of here like that. I said, listen, so is there, when's this part going to come in? When's this shit going to get fixed? Like, this was a heat wave. Like, it was 32 degrees in the house. And he's like, oh, I'm just the guy that comes and checks this. He's starting to make excuses, right? He's like, and then he has the fucking audacity, to say, maybe you should think about getting a backup portable air conditioner. I looked at him, I said, a backup air conditioner? I just spent $20,000 on this air conditioner. Why would I want to then go buy a backup? He's like, coming up with no solutions, coming up with no ideas to help me out here, and just wants to get the fuck out of here, right? Because he just doesn't know what he's doing. So I said, you know what? explain to me what you just did so you can, so I know. So when I speak to the next guy, at least I know what you did, right? So he explains to me what he did. I'm like, all right, cool. Peace. He bounces, and this was last Thursday. He says, yeah, we're going to get an update tonight. Thursday night comes, no call. Friday comes, no call. Saturday comes, no call. So we start losing our fucking minds in this house. I'm telling you, when you're in that type of heat with 2 kids, you start going a little bit crazy. Especially when you get a little older too. Like, I used to be able to deal with no air conditioning when I was younger, but now I can't deal with it, right? You're just sweating, like your legs are just moist like an eel. You just feel like your legs are like eels. It's disgusting. So finally, we just start losing it. We start sending text messages to the numbers that we have. We start sending emails. Sharon's sending them. I'm sending them, threatening social. The moment we started talking about social media and that we're going to take this outside of the house, we're going to get Trick Daddy and take it to the house, sort of thing, like, baby, 'cause I'm a thug, that type of shit. Man, you know what I mean? Thug.com, that shit. I was going to get real Trick Daddy on this shit, and just like, all of a sudden, we get a phone call from Jeff, their senior guy. They're Michael Jordan of this shit. You know what I mean? The moment social media was mentioned, this guy calls. And this guy right away is actually listening. He respects our issue and says, I'm going to be there tomorrow between this time and this time. Sure enough, he was there before he said. I mean, like at the, they say 1 to 3. He was there at like 10 after 1. He comes in, he already knows the deal, and he fucking says, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get a temporary fix for you so that your air conditioning can work. I can't guarantee how long that's going to last, but at least it'll buy us some time before we get the condenser coil for outside, because it is taking some time to get this part. So he's like, boom, 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 does this, does that, boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, air conditioner is working. The temporary fix is in. And he talks to me like a human being, doesn't chomp his, and he's about my age too. He's got a beard, you know what I mean? Like, we related right away. He's looking at me, explains what he did, and then he says, listen, it's not 100%, and I don't like leaving houses not 100% because I don't want to come back here. I was like, this is what I want to hear right here. Respect. You're giving me respect. I'm giving you respect back. Shook his hand. I'm like, I appreciate that. He's like, I'm going to call right away to find out about this part, and I'm going to give you an update the moment I hear about this part when it comes in, and we're going to come immediately and put that in and make this 100%. I said, that's all I want to hear. And then he bounced, and the air conditioner is still working. You could probably hear it in the background. Fucked up, man. Like, and I heard too, I was speaking to one of my neighbors, like, this is what's happening with these HVAC companies. They're fucking criminals. They're crooks. Listen, these guys, what they do is they send their good guys. Like that guy was their MJ. Like, this guy was the shit. But what they're doing at these HVAC companies is that they're putting the good guys, the senior guys, on the commercial side. And then the residential side, they're sending me fucking gum chomper over here. Fucking mouth breathing. These mouth breathing just trolls are coming to my house. That came to my house. They're just fucking trolls. I don't know what I'm doing. This type of shit, man. Like checking ChatGPT what to do next. Like, get out of here. That's so disrespectful. I spent $20,000 on this. This shit is under warranty, and you send me a troll chomping on gum to fix my shit? Get the fuck out of here. Oof. Needless to say, thank you, Jeff. You know what I mean? Like, Atlas, you totally redeemed yourself with sending this guy over, thankfully, right? But yeah, so knock on wood, it's been working for the last few days since it got fixed, and hopefully it keeps working until this the coil comes in and they can replace that. So I'll leave it at that. It's a temporary fix, right? So I've been trying to hush my stress, right? I'm trying to just calm my stress down, just calm this shit down, right? It's been cool too, because I've done some different things. I had major flip here, but when my grandpa died, I grabbed his pickleball racket. The last one he played with, this really good one, right? So my neighbor from Spain, we're cool. His kids are cool with. His daughter's cool with my daughter. They're friends. They go to the same school. And he's like, let's play some pickleball. And the Spaniard, he just wants to play, right? Alberto, and I'm like, all right, I'm just warning you, man. Like, you may never want to play pickleball ever again, because I was raised on the, I was taught how to play pickleball on St. Joseph Island. This is amongst like Arizona tour, the people from Arizona, Florida, like these are the upper echelon. This is the 1%ers. Like, they've taught me the tricks, right? So we get there and then. Still hasn't beaten me yet. Alberto, I'm gonna get you on here. We're gonna talk pickleball, man. You still gotta get that first win. But it's so much fun. I forgot how I hadn't played all summer. And usually I always play when I get back to the island. And I didn't play when we went to the island this year. And man, we get out here and it's blowing up everywhere. Everyone's playing fucking pickleball. It's beautiful. And so we went out there. It was so much fun. It was nice, you know what I mean? It's like basketball. It's like any sport, man. You go out and you shoot around. You just forget about the shit you're dealing with. Forget about the air conditioner that's broken. If you're ever having relationship issues, you forget about that for a moment. You just shoot around. You don't talk about that shit. You just focus on what you're doing and focus on that. You know what I mean? Just boom, get out of the kitchen. So much fun. So much fun. And I've changed around. I've been running so much and feeling nice and strong and hitting the gym so hard, and I've been eating a lot more and I can feel so much stronger. I look a lot bigger now compared to what I was before. I'm pretty sure last time I checked I was like 186 pounds, probably at close to 188, 190 right now. I can feel it. But it's a good solid 188, 190 right now. Probably around there, somewhere around there. I don't know. I don't want to check right now because I don't want to get hooked to that again. Fucking eating disorder shit, probably. So I'm not doing that. I'll check every few weeks. That's good enough for me. The one thing I've noticed though is that long episodes ago, I mentioned about the headaches that I was getting. And how I went to this doctor, and the doctor actually really, really hooked me up and got me, well, essentially gave me those pills that almost killed me, which I stopped taking because I don't take pharmaceuticals. I take broccoli and spinach and protein. And so she, adjusted and has me on frankincense and mixed with a high dose of melatonin at night. And it has been working. It has been great, but it has been a while that I've been on this high dose of melatonin, and it's starting to affect me. So the last 2 nights I have not had a good sleep, and it's more of like this half awake, half sleep sort of bullshit, like still kind of aware, but I'm sleeping. I don't think I'm sleeping, but I feel like I'm sleeping. Like, it's so weird. And sure enough, ChatGPT-5 that shit, and yup, this is the melatonin is starting to get to me, and it's a very high dose. Like, the doctor has me, this is going to blow you away. Like, she had me on a dose of 30 milligrams. Like, that shit's crazy. So I've been doing a little less, been doing 25, which is still a huge dose of melatonin. So I'm going to cut that shit in half starting tonight, and I'm going to start tapering off and I got to see how my headaches deal with that. And I think I'm going to be good. If anything, the sleep is going to help, right? So I gotta start tapering that shit down, because the last 2 nights it's just so weird. It was like I don't know if it's the stress too that I've been dealing with. Obviously that can reflect in your sleep and can affect your sleep, but we all need our sleep, man, especially when we're going hard and doing what we do. That's that health wise. My left side's been actually pretty good. I've been icing like a maniac. That's the one thing I've really changed. I'm icing at least 40 minutes a day, if not more. On my left side, my hip, my glute, my TFL, even my side, my upper side. So that's going well. So that's helping. It's still sore. Still can't really, comfortably sleep on my left side. But, there's some nerve shit going on too. So hopefully I get that resolved. And lastly, this was funny. So I don't really like public pools. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but we have one just behind our house in Monarch Park. And with our air conditioner down, 32 degrees in the house, it's a weekend. It's a heat wave. It's like 40 degrees outside. Just crazy. Like, everybody's starting to go mental in the house. Like, we're just literally all starting to go a little crazy, right? So what are we going to do? All right, we're going to go to the pool. I hate going to public pools. And anybody here listening who is from the island. I don't know if you're listening, Blake, to this episode, or Phil, or anybody, like Islanders or up Northern Ontario. Like, we had our space when it came to swimming. Like, if we wanted to, we'd go to WI Park. There's gonna be a few people at the beach, but it's not gonna be like crowded. And then most of the time we had our own spots to swim, right? So we had the whole lake, and so you can move around, right? Pools are a whole different story. Pools, everybody's so close, and especially city pools. Like, it gets disgusting. It gets real gross. Like, you're just packed. And last weekend when we were in there, it was packed. And there was just one instance where I was like, we were talking to these other parents. My daughter goes to the same school as mine. They're just awesome. I just love them. They're two of my favorites. I love those two. And they were in the pool as well. And we're just chatting, just chopping it up and laughing. And they're like, yeah, I never see you in the pool. And they're laughing. I'm like, because it's fucking gross. Like, this shit disgusts me, right? And at that moment when I said this shit disgusts me, I felt like a shark had come past my leg, or an eel, like a giant seal, actually. Just like a giant obese seal just swam by me and just rubbed up against my leg underwater. And it was just the most disgusting, slippery, gross feeling, and it just went slow against my leg, and I looked down. It's this giant like obese child, this big kid. Like, maybe he was only like 8 years old, but he had the size of a 16-year-old, right? And just swims past me, and just every inch of him just like went against my calf underwater, and just swam and rubbed up. He gets up and he spits up the water, and he's like, sorry. I was like, that was awful. Just disgusting. So, needless to say, I got out of that pool probably about 15-20 minutes later, because that was enough. I was temporarily in that pool as well, like a temp fix, you know what I mean? I went in there to cool off. I gotta get out of here, man, because that was too much. Other than that, man, I hope that everybody else is dealing with what everybody's dealing with. Something like it's funny too. The neighbor sent me a news story from this couple in Mississauga who has a heat pump that's working, but it's not working. So it's like their house is like 32 degrees, but it's working. And the worst part of the whole story is this news story, because they had to go to the news about it, is that they keep getting HVAC companies to come check it out, and they're like, they can't figure it out. I'm like, what do you mean you can't figure it out? You sold this heat pump to this older couple, and they are close to death. I can't imagine being 85 with a cane, wearing a cardigan in 33 plus degrees in your house in Mississauga, and you call HVAC company to come over, and they can't figure it out. What do you mean you can't figure it out? So no wonder they went to the news. I felt so bad for that. But again, it just proves like everybody is dealing with something. And when stuff happens to you, and like stuff breaks and stuff happens, you have to remind yourself, please remind yourself that you're not the only one, man. You're not alone in this. Somebody else is dealing with this shit. And it's not all just happy smiles and beaches and white sand as Instagram and social media looks like, man. That is not the case. That is not the case. You know what I mean? Like, we're all dealing with something. And don't forget, you're not the only one. Yeah, man. On that note, let's go switch somewhere else. I want to give a shout out to my lady, my wife. Because she got real gangsta on Atlas Care. When she sent that email, man, talking about social media, she came out, her wording was incredible. She CC'd me on that email, man, and it had just like these sprinkles of, I'm gonna fucking sue your ass. It sounded like Johnny Cochran, resurrected man, rest in peace, on an email. It sounded exactly how Johnny Cochran would send an email. And it was fucking amazing. So big shout out to my wife for that shit. She got one in the chamber on that one. Alright, we're back. And let's get into the Stortini verse. The Stortini verse for this week, we're going to start off with some music. And I liked what I did last week. Just went random. But this week, we're not going to go random. I just found this leaving the gym this morning. And speaking of which, before we get into this, long story short, yesterday, hadn't had a lot of sleep. Got to the gym, and I have this like little black, it's like a pouch that I have all my cards in. And it's got that protective thing in it that when you put your keys in it and it's in the house, somebody can't they can't read your keys or whatever. Anyway, so I carry my keys in that, and I carry my cards in that. Yesterday, when I got to the gym, it was in my backpack. And then when I left the gym, went downstairs to go get some food and realized, where's my pouch with my cards? Couldn't pay for it. Thought, oh, it must be in the truck. Go in the truck, not in the truck. Must be at home. Got home. No, must not gonna be at home. I had to go to the barbershop in half an hour. I had some work to do. I had to do all this shit. I'm like rushing around. Oh my God. I go back to the gym, last ditch effort, which I probably should have gone in there in the first place. You know what I mean? But I went back to the gym, went to my locker. I'm like, shit, it's not in here. I'm looking on the ground. And I just so happened to look back at the locker that I was in. I looked in the corner. There's the little black pouch just sitting in the corner at the bottom of the locker. So lucky. Like my daughter even Luna actually brought this up. She's like, imagine somebody had took your locker. Like, God, you know me well. I would have went crazy. If somebody had locked that up and I got home, I would have been calling Robo Bank. Oh my God. Anyways, leaving the gym. Leaving the gym today was a little less stressful. And Spotify threw me this one. This is Amantes del Futuro. This is an album of his that he just put a slowed down version of it out today. Here it is. This is called Cumbia Amarela. Slow version. Take this in for a moment. Amantes del Oye. Ay. The vocals kind of remind me of, I don't know if you've ever heard of Burial. There's this dude, Burial in the UK. His vocals sound... Anyways, that is Amantes del Futuro. Cumbia Amarela, new album. He remixed the whole thing, just slowed everything down. And it's a vibe. Now that I listened to it for the second time around now, I'm like, what the fuck drugs are these dudes on right here? Like, I don't take drugs, but right there, that is like music drugs. So I don't know exactly what drugs this dude is taking on this one, but he's taking something, and he's hitting it hard. So music this week, Stortini verse, Cumbia Amarela from Amantes del Futuro. Let's jump into the documentary, man. I got Disney Plus back. I've mentioned it a few times, and I got into this series called, what is it called? I don't remember. Something about storms, man. Storms brewing or whatever. But what it is all these different hurricanes and typhoons that have happened in the last, since, I don't know, last 10 years. National Geographic had given all these fishermen and all these tanker ships cameras for the whole, typhoon season and hurricane season. And then when the storms came, they would give the footage back of what it was like to be around these storms. And oh my God, these tanker ships, man, like they did that one hurricane. What was it called? I don't know, but it was out in the Atlantic, man. And these ships, just what they had to deal with is like on its side, and the waves are like 60 feet, and just like, oh my, like how you deal with that shit. I just got seasick in France on just like the little waves. Like I can't even imagine what it's like dealing with hurricanes, typhoons. Oh, these guys got iron stuff. It was funny too, because most of the tanker ships, the captains were from Where were they from? The one was from Ukraine, and the other guy was from Poland. I'm like, these guys are just like made of steel. He looked like he was made of steel and sandpaper. Like, nothing phases this guy. This guy ate landmines for lunch. You know what I mean? Like, he played with landmines probably and ate gravel and felt good about it. You know what I mean? So you throw him on this ship and they're like, all right, you got to get this from A to B. He's like, no problem. I will get it there in fast time. And just did it. Dealing with hurricanes, I'm not scared of any hurricanes. Fuck bullshit hurricane. Typhoon means nothing to me. As long as I have food, nuts, milk, lots and lots of milk. I need bags of Canadian milk to get through hurricane. I'm going to call the episode Warm Bag of Milk. That's what I'm going to call this episode, man. Perfect. But yes, watch that. Becoming Storm or something like that on Disney Plus. Super interesting. And I learned one thing out of it too. On the Pacific coast, so around like Japan and Philippines, they don't call them hurricanes, they call them typhoons. But on our side, like the Atlantic and like Gulf of Mexico and all around there, they're hurricanes. So a typhoon and a hurricane is the same shit. They just call it typhoon over there. I didn't know that. I always thought there was something different between a typhoon and a hurricane, but it's no different. Disney Plus, go check that out. And lastly, my challenge for you going into this weekend is, let me think. My challenge for you is see how long you can last in a public pool. Go see if you can last 10 minutes in a really busy public pool, and come back and tell me about it. Tell me about your experience. Come back and tell me what it's like. You know what I mean? And like, for people that just sit there and go, oh, you're exaggerating, Ben. Like, you're just over exaggerating, trying to make a joke. No, it's disgusting. I'm sorry. It's just gross. Pissing and sneezing kids and just like, it's just so gross. On that note, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the heat, enjoy the rest of the summer, the little bit of summer that we have left, and keep your head up and get mucking in the corner. Fight for that puck, all right? So have a good weekend. I love you. Later. Thank you for listening to this episode or watching it, whatever you did, doesn't matter to me. And if you downloaded it, even though I don't completely understand my analytics when it says it's been downloaded, thank you for downloading. And please hit subscribe if this is your first time listening. And please hit that 5-star review. And I'll tell you why. Because that tells the silly little algorithm this should probably be going out to more people. So on that note, man, thanks again for listening. And please don't forget this slightly little last tidbit. I love you.